Subcommittee and the Judiciary Committee, Mr. Garcia from Illinois.
Thank you, Ranking Member Jayapal, and to each of the witnesses. You've truly shared what is going on across the country with immigrants, with lawful permanent residents, U.S. citizens, the military personnel that are being manipulated into horrible situations and being an extension of a terrible policy, and of course, the impact on the economy, because immigrants power a lot of the U.S. economy. But at the same time, we're hearing about the Trump administration's cruel and lawless anti-immigrant agenda that's continuing to destroy families, communities, and fabric of across the nation. It's been 8 months since Donald Trump took office, and we should all be familiar at this point with his administration's violent assault on immigrants. They're conducting mass surveillance, kidnapping people off the streets, at workplaces, dumping them in brutal detention centers. You've testified to that, without access to basic necessities, trying to deport them to torture prisons in third countries. And now Republicans are spending over $100 billion in taxpayer dollars to fuel more violence against our fellow community members. As many of you know, I proudly represent a Latino majority district that includes working class communities across the Southwest Side in Chicago and surrounding suburban communities. Our diverse community has been specifically targeted by this administration. They've now ramped up with Operation Midway Blitz, which has led to the invasion of our district by masked thugs who are targeting hardworking residents without criminal records. And I thought a lot about using that term out of respect for good law enforcement personnel. But just last Tuesday, Secretary Noem joined in a military armored vehicle for a raid in the town of Elgin. They broke down someone's door in a pre-dawn raid with cameras in tow, of course, and ended up detaining 2 U.S. citizens who they released shortly after. But this lawlessness is also getting people killed, including in my district. Last Friday, I shot and killed an undocumented immigrant in Franklin Park who had just dropped off his kids at school. DHS claims that Silverio Villegas Gonzalez drove at officers and hit and dragged one before that officer shot him. The publicly available footage thus far contradicts much of their narrative, and now ICE is claiming they don't have body camera footage of the incident. This is an absolute disgrace. Violent thugs are targeting, shooting, and killing people, and they're not just even wearing body cameras. Ms. Gupta, thank you for being here today. Can you speak to the impunity that we're seeing with ICE officers and the lack of body cameras and how it only adds to that impunity?
Yes, thank you, Congressman, and also for that description of what's happening in real time in Chicago right now. I think all of these things that you're referencing, the use of face masks, plain clothes, refusal to wear cameras, and especially the refusal to answer questions, the lack of transparency, are all just symptoms of an agenda that is indiscriminate with absolutely no enforcement priorities. This is a politically motivated set of quotas, and that is the only thing driving everything we see on the ground. Face masks, no body cameras, they are in some ways the point. They drive theater and fear. The White House has left it up to ICE agents as to whether or not they want to wear masks, giving them an essential green light to do so despite the reaction it's eliciting on the ground. If we had a transparent, honest, targeted enforcement agenda, of course masks wouldn't be necessary, and it wouldn't be a problem to use body cameras. And of course, it's true, there are some officers that have faced threats from community members given the terrorizing tactics that are being used. But at the end of the day, no body cameras, face masks, plain clothes, that actually erodes the credibility of law enforcement itself. It's bad for law enforcement in cities like Chicago.
Thank you for that. Running out of time, just want to underscore one other case. On Sunday morning, just before the Mexican Independence Day in my neighborhood, the parade, 2 children were left crying in a vehicle in the town of Cicero. Ms. Letonich, just like you testified in your presentation, this is what's happening in communities and how families are being torn apart. Thank you. I yield back, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much,